What's the last half hour or so been like for you? What was the landing like?
The landing, we were just saying that it was smoother than some other landings we'd experienced. That it was incredible. Maybe slowed down more than they would normally do, but very smooth. The whole process, the pilot, but also the whole crew have been very calm. And none of us had, we're all busy Googling and looking at Sky News now. We didn't realise there'd be such a fuss because it's been such a calm experience.
You didn't realise we've all been watching you circling over Brighton and Eastbourne for the last half hour or so. When did you first realise that something was wrong? When were the passengers first told that something was up?
We were half an hour to an hour in and they said we had to go back to Gatwick, basically. And they said it was a hydraulic problem, not specifically the wheels. Although I spoke to my travelling companion and said I thought that might be the case.
Yeah, that was
great. I was hoping it wouldn't be the case. But actually the experience has been, it shows how professional flight crew and pilots are and how good the aircraft are, because it was textbook really. Very, the way they handled the brace position, all the instructions, all 547 passengers were kept calm because the crew were calm. Bit of a queue for the toilets at one point because no one could get up for a while, but really, as an experience for anybody on the flight, it's probably less dramatic than watching it on the TV.
You mentioned the brace.
Thank God. I mean,
You mentioned the brace position there. You were presumably all refreshed on the safety procedures for these kind of landings before that landing was made, were you?
Yeah, we were given a safety briefing probably 2 hours before we actually landed, and then reminded a number of times, and then obviously when we went through it, it was a pretty calm procedure because they'd run through it a few times. I mean, I think that was what alerted, when they first said brace position and emergency landing, you could see a sort of a sigh go through the plane, but as we went on, and obviously we were going round and round in circles and trying some procedures to release the wheels, people got used to the idea, and because the crew were so calm, it made us calm. You normally go on these flights and you're more worried about whether your food's going to be hot or cold, or whether you're going to be upgraded. But really, this is what matters, and the crew were amazing, fantastic.
When you adopted the brace position as you were coming into land at Gatwick, what was going through your mind? Even though the crew were calm, even though the rest of the passengers were very calm, I'm a bit of a nervous flyer myself, and it's my worst nightmare. I certainly wouldn't have been wanting to take that position. How did you feel?
Yeah, you do feel nervous. The people in the row with me, of course, you don't want to exaggerate. We're all thinking, we just want this over and done with. We think it's going to be fine, but you're never sure, are you? So, we were. You just want it to be over and done with. We were talking about going on a roller coaster in Vegas when we got there. That is off the menu if we ever get there now. We don't need a roller coaster ride. We've been on this flight.
There were some reports that there were a couple of attempts to land earlier. Are you able to tell us anything about that, or was this the first attempt to land that you were aware of?
I think we circled over for the tower to look at us through binoculars. They made reference to that. The captain, David, captain of the plane, said that they were looking at the plane with binoculars to check our landing gear. So I think that's why they came low. But no, they were no intention. We were circling. We jettisoned a lot of fuel as well, sort of quite a way out, probably over Wales. So there was a lot of planning, and obviously on the phone to Boeing as well. That's what we were informed of anyway.
What's happening now? You're still sat there on the plane in your seat. You can see all the flashing lights presumably out the windows.
People, texting, phoning loved ones, chatting. And yeah, generally people were just relieved. It's a kind of everyone gave a big round of applause to the flight team when we landed. You can imagine the relief amongst everybody here.
Have a few emergency gin and tonics been consumed since you've landed and relaxed?
Actually, your colleague Kay, my former colleague, suggested that, and we can't wait to get back into the terminal so we can have a gin and tonic or vodka tonic.
Yeah.
I heard an emphatic yes from the person sitting next to you on the plane there.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, we definitely, that's on the agenda. We don't know what we're going to do about getting over to the States now, but we're just relieved to be down, and nothing but kudos to Virgin Atlantic and their crew. Fantastic team, and actually an extraordinarily calm experience to be on this plane with them, and you can't say better than that. Thank God they knew what they were doing.
Any idea how long you're going to be on the plane? We can see the emergency services there, the fire crews and the ambulances all standing by. It seems that they're not needed, thankfully. They're presumably trying to get the steps up to the aircraft. Any idea how that's going? Can you see anything, or the steps anywhere near you?
There was an announcement I just missed because I was chatting away to you guys, but I think they want to try and level the plane off because obviously it's leering to one side, so they want to make it stable and then they'll get us off. And I don't think it'll be that long now. I think we'll be off fairly soon.
And are you still keen to travel on to America? A lot of people after an experience like this, however calm, might say, I think I'll just go home now. But are you still quite keen to head back to the States?
I think, yeah, I mean, it's like falling off a bike. You've got to get back on. I think this is you're more likely to get run over crossing the streets. So it's an unusual experience. I mean, you never think it's going to happen to you, but thank God when it did happen to us, we're going to go down as one of the greatest emergency landings in history, I would think. It's very smooth. So we're lucky that if fate played you this hand, that we've been in safe hands.